Well, hey there, YouTube. It's Pete Two Finger back again. And this video, I wanted to talk about chopping tremolo arm. Now, this is something. Excuse me, I'm going to adjust this card here. This is something that I had learned about because I believe Dave Gilmore is. That's where I learned about it. And oh, whoa. I'm knocking everything over here. Excuse me. This tremolo here is it's a Fender style guitar. This is actually a Squire Strat, and it was a black Strat with a white pickguard that I purchased for $50, and I put these Alnico 5 pickups in it. It was a $30 set of pickups and black knobs, and the result is this. I like this guitar. As far as something like a daily player, like this is, it's satisfactory. The neck works really well for me. The tremolo arm, it did not come with one. So typically what I will do is quote unquote research that. I'll use a digital caliper and try to ascertain, do I own a tremolo arm here that fits, and then measure that, and then see what that number is, and order one off of eBay then. So this tremolo arm was quite a bit like it goes into the guitar, comes out, it kind of 90s, and then it curves again, and like this length here, it was about like that. It was about out to here. So I take a tremolo arm tip, and I will measure how much does that need after this joint here, after this bend, and mark that with a Sharpie. And the method that I use is I have some old heavy duty work gloves, and I've cut the finger off that. So I will take that leather and seat the tremolo arm inside the glove, the finger, to protect it. And I put it in a vise and clamp it down so the arm isn't going anywhere. And then so like this part, just this part, the stem sticking down with the threads has the leather, and it's clamped coming over. And then that allows me to put my weight on it and push down, because see, normally this angle is not as tight. It's way sticking up. And the end result of that is something that it's not really convenient to have the tremolo arm. Let's say you're wrapping your 2 fingers around it, and then you've got a pick in these 2 fingers, and you're picking and playing and activating the tremolo arm. I find with the measurement of everything, it is more ergonomic for me to reduce this angle here and have it closer to a right angle. So that's the first step, is bending it to the, and you don't want to do a hard 90. You want to give it a little bit, depending on the guitar and the setup and what you're going for. But I've always found that going too far with that first initial bend to be regret. You can take a propane torch and heat the end joint when you do the bend, and then I would recommend you put it in cold water after that. But it may discolor. Like this is a gold tremolo arm. I do never ever go for gold hardware on a guitar, but I saw a picture of a similar instrument with this gold tremolo, and I thought, I like that. So again, the last step being applying the tip, and in this case, you know, I could have cut it at the angle and then inserted it in the vise and tried to bend it to make it even shorter. That's something I'll have to work on. There was some play with this, and what I've done, I don't know if you can see, let me get a little light in here for you guys. That black there, that's heat shrink tubing, and if you apply a little bit of heat shrink tubing towards the top of the threads there, it can help to stabilize the threads. I also recommend nylon plumber's tape to wrap around if you've got the tremolo arm screwed into where you like it and it's got a little wobble in it. You can wrap this, it's like white plastic, it's actually nylon tape, plumber's tape, that they wrap that around the threads of the pipes and that seals it from leaking. Well, that plumber's tape will work really well to shim up a wobbly tremolo arm, but after you know, a few times of use, you may need to replace that tape. So it's something that I will keep in the guitar's case, and it's nice to have. Teflon tape is not one of those things you can cut with your teeth. So if you can find a sewing kit that has a small piece of scissors, small set of scissors, that would be a fantastic addition to your case. So that's one example of a chopped tremolo arm. And again, like if you think of David Gilmour's vibrato, he's like bleepy, kind of. It's not like dive bomby or extreme. It's subtle. His tremolo arm is subtle, and the longer your arm is and the more the angle is bent on it, it seems like the more difficult that's going to be to get that subtle effect. So here's another one. This is a unusual guitar. It's called the Bootlegger Spade, and it's stock. Could you give me the stock tremolo arm for the Bootlegger?
Sure.
Oh, baby. The cat's sitting in the guitar case. It's camping out. So here also I'd like the plumber's tape. Here is the original tremolo arm for the Bootlegger Spade. It's pretty big. Pretty big. You can see that angle on there. And here's the one that I made today. This was purchased via eBay. It was like $3.50. Here's a picture of how they list the threading and the length. So it's important that's really the most important number there. But I suppose they're all important in their own right. Again, this was chopped down. I chopped it right here, so it was looking like that. The stock tremolo fits really well in here. Actually, it was so stiff when I got it, I was kind of freaking out. But this one's a little loose, and I have used the Teflon tape down here, wrapped it twice around. This is the Teflon tape here, and that gives me a real snug fit and enables the tremolo arm to not wobble, which is not good. So here on this one, basically when you're sawing it, you got to resist the urge to crack it off, because then you're going to have a half nub sticking out of there, and you're going to have to file that down. You can use a hand file, but the best tool is a grinder. and real carefully go at it with the grinder, try to round the end off. You could paint it. This here is multiple applications. You can see it's multiple applications of heat shrink tubing on here. So it's makes it really thick. And I put a Bic Biro pen cap on it on the end and covered it with a single coat of black, and then I put a red on the tip for an accent. So this is kind of a funky looking tremolo arm. For a funky looking guitar. And when it's installed all the way, you can see it's I would almost prefer this to be dropped down a little lower. You know, if I was going to have one custom made, I would have it just a little bit lower, but the ergonomics of it, so this is a little bit more subtle, but yeah, that's how I like to chop my tremolo arms. And this one, it doesn't. It's not gonna gravity. Gravity's not gonna pull it down. It's not that loose. When this is tight here, you can move it. It's just right. Like I've never had one that was just right like that. And I think that's probably because of the Teflon tape has given me that. This tremolo system, I put 9s on the guitar, and I found that it was difficult. There wasn't enough tension with the 9s, really. Just there's that balance, getting the balance right in between the springs. I ended up putting 10s through 42s, and that gave me the perfect amount of string tension on the guitar to balance the tremolo. But still, more often than not, if I use the tremolo, I will pull up on it when I'm done using it to like reset it and tune to get it back where it needs to be. And like this is the thing, finding a guitar that has a tremolo system that really works well is difficult, and that's why you see so many players and pro guys playing guitars that are hardtails. They don't want to mess with it, you know. Then there's guys like Jeff Beck or Adrian Belew. These guys have like they've written their music, their performance style. The heart of it is the tremolo arm, in a sense. Like, especially with Jeff Beck. I mean, he just, if you're not familiar with his more modern work, I don't think he always played like that. But the mature Jeff Beck, when you watch him, there's a John Lennon cover, A Day in the Life, and he plays John Lennon's vocal line on the guitar. And it's one of the most beautiful pieces of music, and his control of the guitar singing through the tremolo arm is really something to witness. But finding a guitar where it's going to stay in tune, and I would love to, like, how is he doing that? How is Jeff Beck getting that Stratocaster to stay in tune with the tremolo? So if anybody knows that, it's something I started out with this stuff not really knowing much, and I know more about pedals and electronics end of it than I really do maintaining and setting up a guitar. But I've been learning more about that, and certainly there's all kinds of different secrets and tricks. It's all about the nut. But that being said, there are these other systems like the Floyd Rose, and a lot of people hate the Floyd Rose. I love it. I've got a Fernandez here, my silver guitar. It has a letter 2 on it. It's a gray silver Super Strat Fernandez that has Floyd and a Sustainiac system on it. And it doesn't stay perfectly in tune, but that out of all the guitars that I have here, it stays the most in tune. I have an Ibanez 350DX with the shark fin, and that's got Ibanez tremolo, which is very similar to a Floyd, and that guitar stays in tune. You know, it's double locking. As the strings stretch, you need to compensate a little bit for it. But as far as guitars with tremolo systems, yeah, if you don't have a guitar with a Floyd setup, if you're a whammy bar guy and you've just been tuning your Strat, if you've tried stuff like putting graphite on it, specifically graphite hardware, meaning all the points of contact are replaced with graphite-based hardware, and you still find it comes up short, I'd encourage you to make the move and try out a Floyd Rose equipped guitar, a double locking system. It's a bit of an adaptation, make an adaptation to like when you restring it. It's a more investment in time, but it's really not that big of a deal compared to the amount of time and hassle you're going to spend keeping your guitar in tune, especially if tuning doesn't come naturally to you. For me, I don't have a problem with that. I have respectably good, I have perfect pitch. I'm not going to say that. I've got good pitch. And if I sit there for a second and clear my head and I can play Pink Floyd The Wall in my head and get an E, and then tune my guitar off that E, and then you put it up against a tuner, and I'll be right there. So I've found tuning harmonically or tuning just by ear, meaning once I get that E, I don't need to touch the neck. I can just tune it. Only playing an open E versus an open A and tune it that way. But as we all know, some of us know, the guitar isn't in tune. It's not. And that's the challenge as a guitar player is, unless you have a true temperament neck, and there's some guys who play in tune. They know how to tune their guitar properly for what song they're going to play to compensate for that. And compensating as they play, and also vibrato playing is another thing where, let's say, the guitar really isn't in tune. Well, if you're doing a lot of vibrato work, that's going to conceal that because the notes are quivering. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's my talk on tremolo systems. I'm certainly not an expert. What I know about tremolo systems is there's more bad or non-efficient tremolo systems in guitars than there are good tremolo systems. I think that Leo Fender, his design does work reasonably well. But now it's in tune. When I do that, not so much there. So, as a Fender guy, I think at some point I would like to get a beater Fender guitar and put a roller nut, roller saddles, and roller string trees on it, and see how does that do. So happy whammying, and if you haven't tried that, you should go on eBay, chopping your tremolo. You should go on eBay and order one for your Strat or whatever you have and try chopping it. I think you'll find that you'll never go back to the full-size tremolo because it just, I don't find myself doing extreme tremolo stuff anymore. And if I do want that, I will go for one of my Floyd equipped guitars. So it's one of those things, you know. All right, you guys, have fun with your guitar, and don't be afraid to experiment. You know, there's no shame in ordering a $3 Chinese tremolo system. It's not going to screw up the economy. A tremolo arm, excuse me. All right, take care and peace.